I was asked once to go back where you came from. So I asked him where he thought that was. I was born in California and I'm here, but I went to high school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a lot of time in Wisconsin, so he said Tulsa. Sometimes I say I'm Hawaiian to save time. If you see in the news, Republican leadership has been talking about this pandemic as the Chinese virus, the Wuhan virus, Kung flu. We know they're trying to distract us from their inept leadership handling this crisis, and we're being told by better leaders don't fall for it. But they're always trying to distract us. Why doesn't this one that pertains to us as Asians warrant some modest outrage? As the model minority, our issues are everyone's issues, but I feel even our allies never look at our issues as very severe. Kids called me slants in high school, and it wasn't because of the pattern I ran in football, but that's not a hate crime. That's a bully reinforcing stereotypes, which is otherwise known as high school. These accepted generalizations show up in media portraying emasculated men, subservient women, non-factors, comic relief, and Rufio. And yes, the Oscar was huge, but the first things that come to mind are still not the biggest DJs, fashion icons, and the best people doing what TikTok considers dancing, and our food is dank. And yes, as a population, we eat weird shit, like pork. Now, to the Texas senator, that makes us responsible for swine flu and other global viruses. But you all eat curdled, rotten cow milk, which is weird in China. So those in power right now need a place to point anger because people are in pain right now and will be for a while, and they want to point the blame somewhere else. Asians are an easy target because they do not perceive us as a genuine threat. We won't fight back against the bullying. We are the model minorities. We accept our place. To some point, there's validity. We lack convening power. We don't unify around the plight of individual immigrants as our own cause as effectively as we can and should. Asian Americans have no cohesive brand because we have our own unique cultures. So to make it easier for others, we have the all of the above political constituency, Asian Americans, Pacific Islander. That's not really an identity as much as it's just all the brown and yellow people they could find. Actually, I asked Andrew Yang about this on the campaign trail.
Asian American Pacific Islander does seem like a constituency invented by a bunch of old white guys. What does actually connect this community?
I think many of us grew up in communities where we had to define ourselves to people that might not have known that much about Asian American Pacific Islanders before, before we showed up to school.
Let me share a few anecdotes pointing to the subtleties that simmers to a boiling point right now. I've been on the road a few times with my friend Charlie Barron's, opening for him as he sells out comedy clubs. He attracts a more Jeff Foxworthy audience than most, and unforeseen patterns have developed. A guy came up to me after the first show and said, "You're funny. I don't know the right way to say this, but I like it when folks who ain't white talk about themselves not being normal." Yeah, so I get a lot of racist compliments. Guys that interrupt in the middle of a conversation and yell, "Asian Jew!" Like, that's a way we greet human beings. He was so enthused and empowered. The reason I was not fazed is because I don't emotionally associate that much with my ethnicity, which makes me white. I guess I've harnessed the power of tan ambiguity, and that is my privilege. But many other beige brothers and sisters can't navigate in the same way. If you peel back my veil, it's not like there's a Mulan dance number I've been repressing. There's just a whiter white guy. Being Chinese and Jewish, I benefit from the two longest dynasties as fallback once this nation goes to shit. That is stability. I'm using it to help save this one. So I'm glad that guy came up to me. I'm glad I could create enough space for him to listen because a lot of folks like him don't feel listened to right now. We really got to handhold these snowflakes. And this ignorance isn't just going away. You're imagining a 50-year-old man maybe, and he was 20-something. If you want to be an ally, help others understand that their life is not upended by Chinese virus. It's been dramatically worsened for them by the inaction of a president that has no belief in numbers and science and only cares about his own well-being. Their stocks plummet, and business is at a standstill because the guy that touts he's great for profit allowed impulses and ignorance to get the best of him when real leadership was needed. And it absolutely wrecked the economy. And we're going to bounce back, but help them recognize that they're going to have to be part of the solution. and step up, because this guy ain't going to cut it. And we're entering a new chapter. And if there's any silver lining to this whole situation, I hope this shared experience can foster empathy. That however indifferent you were to life in Wuhan and South Korea when they were going through this, there's mutual respect now that we're all in this together. We're all trying really hard to help each other solve this. Except this guy.